What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor, the bi-weekly gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. I'm your host, Zach. Here we talk through the week's news in gaming, by which I mean everybody goes around the topics. They talk about what they want. They get points as they make interesting points or funny jokes. And if you're watching live on twitch.tv/SaveDataTeam, which you can do on bi-weekly Thursday nights, you can vote using Twitch channel points to influence the scores, either giving or taking away points once per round from somebody as they speak. And a special shout out to our Patreon producers, which includes Bandicoot Commander 95, Kadabe, Fafilla, Sibilla, Halucha, Rick Rat, A73, Jadwap, Shadowed Navi, Dessert Boy Man, Mystic Woody, Burger Bun, HSM, Nicole, Les, Antiluster, Traveling in a Box, and Soapy. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate that. But joining me for the first time in a long time, folks, it's the voice of the fucking people, Rob.
Hello, hello, hello.
We've got the Ace Attorney, Pridge.
Good evening.
We've got the Editor-in-Chief, Carl.
Hello.
And the hockey sticks and sickle herself, Elise.
Rifle Slayer. I don't actually have that title yet. It's not available.
Folks, if you haven't watched this show, we normally start with a trivia question to determine the order. And folks, I don't know if you're aware, but with the start of the new Fortnite season, I can't even tell you what the number is, they agreed to donate the proceeds of the first 2 weeks entirely to support refugee efforts in Ukraine. My question to you, they still have, I think, 4 more days on this, but as of right now, my question to you all is, how much money have they raised in about 10 days of Fortnite?
Shit, how does Fortnite make money? You don't have, it's free to play, right?
It is free to play.
This is wild.
Yeah.
It's $0 then. That's my guess.
It's the same thing in League of Legends, Rob. Come on, you know this.
Yeah.
Is that game free to play?
A few million, right?
Oh, shoot.
Rob,
It's gotta be like, I'm gonna give it 4 million. 4 million.
4 million?
81 million.
81 million.
Oh, jeez.
Carl, you go ahead.
I'll go 15 million.
50 million?
15.
15 million. Okay.
Yeah.
16 million.
16.
Oh, you
Wow. Absolute rat bastard Rob here. The correct answer may surprise you. It's $100 million. Sorry. $100 million.
Dumb joke.
Yeah,
Fortnite.
I know. In 10 days, essentially, they raised that money.
Because I saw a site at one point say 81 million.
Yeah,
I didn't know how much I raised since I saw that.
I think the most recent report I was looking off of is 2 days old.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that game turns out makes a lot of money. And hey, speaking of Fortnite, it's in the news, including the topics such as 343 says Master Chief removing his helmet in the Halo series, quote, had to feel earned and meaningful, which is why it happened in the first episode of the show. Activision settles a sexual harassment lawsuit for $18 million. Should be noted, that's just one of their lawsuits. Breath of the Wild sequel has been delayed out of 2022. Sony has finally revealed changes to PlayStation Plus, which includes a 3-tier structure. This is probably the most intensive article news of the week. Somebody's going to get to talk about it. In relation to that, PlayStation CEO says that releasing new titles to the PlayStation Plus service could hurt their games. Yeah, they're not doing the Xbox Game Pass model of putting the brand new, hottest and latest games out for free. They're still going to cost $70. E3 is officially canceled for real this year. Will it ever return? Nintendo takes down scans of Super Mario 64 strategy guide because in the year of our Lord 2022, Nintendo was still going to make money from it. Why the fuck would you do this, Nintendo? Amazon's game boss Mike Frazzini is stepping down after the game service finally actually has a win this year. Sony has just acquired Jade Raymond's new Haven Studios before they've even made a game or even announced what game they're working on. Indie studio Funamina, which has made Wadham and Luna, is shutting down after toxicity reports. After introducing it temporarily, Fortnite has permanently added a no build to the popular Battle Royale. GTA 5 is adding a $6 a month membership, effectively a battle pass. And last but not least, folks, the return of the king. Sony has filed a new trademark on knack. Does this mean we're getting a knack 3? We'll find out.
Free, baby.
We'll find out. Pridge, however, is going to be starting it off for this night. Pridge, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, you know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about E3.
Pridge, the number one E3 denier.
The number one E3 denier.
What do you got to tell us about E3?
We recently learned today that E3 has been canceled completely for 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in January, they scrapped any chance of a physical presentation, but they did not close out the possibility of a digital-only event like they did last year in 2021. However, when people ask, so does this mean it will be a digital event, the Entertainment Software Association, ESA, which puts on E3, was kind of hesitant to answer and really give any sort of affirmative response, which was kind of a telling sign, because you feel like if they were confident they were going to put something on, they would have said that and been trying to hype it up and reassure people.
Mm-hmm.
So, once again, can't say this is the most surprising thing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it is worth mentioning this is a pretty bad 3-year stretch for E3.
Yes.
Canceled completely in 2020, digital only in 2021, and now canceled again in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they said that they are putting all their efforts into getting ready for 2023. But let me tell you how much I don't trust that statement. I don't trust that statement at all.
Hot take.
It seems like such a save-face statement.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, again, it's not like, it'd be one thing if they hadn't done digital only last year, but they did, and it wasn't bad or anything. It obviously wasn't the same, and it was limited in many regards, but they did it. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they just have to cancel completely is very, very worrying, because there shouldn't be an issue. I mean, not that it's easy to schedule a giant digital conference, but they've done it once before. There shouldn't be a reason they couldn't have figured out how to do it again.
Yeah.
And obviously, as I've mentioned every time when I talk about E3, this is music to Keeley's ears.
Oh, Jeff Keighley is losing his mind right now.
Because obviously, 2020 when E3 was canceled for the first time since it started in '95, was the inaugural year for Summer Games Fest, which pretty good first year, had an even better showing in year 2 in 2021. Again, I would argue probably bigger than E3's digital only event, but I don't have numbers on that. And then now Summer Games Fest gets to keep becoming bigger, and now once again has no competition.
Yep.
So again, as I've predicted many times, I think E3 is. I was calling E3 to be on its last legs, and this just feels like putting me closer and closer to being correct. Games Fest is going to keep growing bigger. More and more companies are going to realize they can just either do Summer Games Fest or do independent showcases, and there's just not going to be the same desire for E3 unless they can put together like a really crazy in-person event and try and leverage that, because again, Summer Games Fest is more of an extended over several weeks, not necessarily in person sort of thing. But I think at the end of the day, this is just another death flag for E3, another victory for the rise of Summer Games Fest and Mr. Keeley.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely got a raw deal, as many companies and just humanity in general did with COVID over the last few years.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, obviously 2020 and 2021, there's nothing to blame them for.
Right. But it is like, Jeff Keighley, of course he has people working under him, but he's one fucking man, and he is still making these shows happen, and I feel like it is very confusing why the ESA didn't even try to put on a... I'm sure they maybe tried, but I guess them deciding to scrap any chance of a digital E3 this early is interesting. I'm wondering what. Yeah,
it's a very bad sign.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that time the ESA doxed like hundreds of game journalists?
Yeah, that was buck wild.
Yeah.
They
like.
For those who
I'm
don't
sorry,
know,
but if you're
they literally,
if your organization is not disorganized,
yeah,
you kind of you're pretty much already dying.
Yeah, they put out the contact information of all the like partner journalists that were coming to the event. So just all of the like their cell phones, their emails, and their home addresses was up on the internet for anyone just to go and find, which I know for a fact caused several people specifically like harassment campaigns, and also just like, shit, I gotta move now. Fucking people, gamers are mad about the dumbest shit, and they will come find me, and I gotta fucking move.
Hey, fuck gamers, dude.
Wow.
Well, speaking of, Rob, it's your turn next.
Okay.
What?
Thank you for that little intro.
Yeah, what amazing topic are you gonna regale us with?
I'm gonna be the fucking angry gamer talking about Halo. Okay, you were right.
Oh, there we go. And really quick, I should add, Sibylla gave a point to Elise for dropping that tidbit, and also David at the very beginning gave Rob a point for filling in his slot in the show. I guess that counts. It feels a little cheap. But Rob,
let me get that.
Tell us about how good Halo, not the animated series, the live action series is.
Dude, so Halo Legends is actually an animated thing, and it's actually pretty good. This is gearing up, so I've been talking to local Halo fan, Slam Man, right? And we're both like, I mean, visually, like, the armor looks cool, but they don't have, I don't know Master Chief's actual voice actor, but they don't have his regular voice actor.
Yeah.
He's taking his helmet off, and it's not even like a thing when he's taking his helmet off. It's just like, oh, it's just going to happen in the first episode because it's going to set the tone for the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. And they're saying when you play Halo, you're filling in the role of the Master Chief. You're kind of creating your own story. And it's like, I don't think that's why anybody ever played Halo. I don't know what these guys are talking about. Maybe an RPG, but Halo, you've played the first one because the Xbox didn't have any other games besides like Grabbed by the Ghoulies and I don't know, Crimson Skies. So you pick up Halo, you're like, okay, this ain't bad. And then you played Halo 2 and 3 to hang out with Sergeant Johnson. So what are these guys talking about? They're like, oh, you're forging your own path. You're like, no, I'm kicking it with the Major. And they're like, we want Master Chief to explore his humanity because everybody's been enjoying that storyline so much in the new games, as opposed to just going around with extreme prejudice, kicking alien ass. I don't understand what these guys think Halo's about. It's about putting on a fucking big suit of armor, a helmet. And I was getting worked up into a frenzy before this episode even started. Darth Vader. You take off his helmet, he's just some pasty white dude, right? Perry the Platypus. You take off his helmet, he's just a regular platypus. Master Chief. You take off his helmet, he's just some white dude with sunken eyes and like trauma and a murderer. Like these guys are, the helmet makes the man, right? You take off Spider-Man's helmet and all of us are Spider-Man, It's like, what are these guys talking about? Helmets are so important to characters and me and gamers and Halo, right? when they added the Mark V helmet to these newer games, like, oh, fuck yeah, a new helmet. I get to wear the old helmet in the very first game. I fucking love that. And I don't know. I feel like the armor is so important and distinctive to Halo, you know?
Mhm.
That was the first time so many illiterate gamers pronounced Mjolnir, you know? They didn't know who Thor was. They don't know anything about God or religion. Marvel wasn't around back then.
These godless
just had-
gamers.
Martin Petty Officer 117 Master Chief, right? Teaching you how to say the name of the hammer, which you thought was a sick-ass set of armor with a cool-ass helmet and an assault rifle, which they took out in the second game for some reason. And now they want to take away his helmet and completely change the game. He's got a new name. It's a new voice actor. It's a whole new, not even canon story. I don't know. This is fucking stupid. Who wants Halo content that's not canon?
Yeah. You're totally right. And Rob, there was an article I didn't include in this, in which the show writers said that they did not play the games at all. They did not take the message from the games. They read the books. Which, like, to be fair, the best stories in Halo do come from the books, but
yes,
you gotta know what makes the game special. You gotta know what the sauce is.
If you've never hooked somebody with a fucking sticky grenade, what the fuck? The books don't mean anything. If you've never, this guy fucking Mark, my brother Mark, was playing Halo 3 Master Chief Collection. And he's showing me a replay. He's like, look, Robert, the grenades hit each other in midair. They have collision. And I was like, yeah, I knew this 15 years ago. But he's still excited about it. Because that's what Halo is. Putting on a helmet and throwing grenades at each other, man.
Yeah.
God,
yeah. Well, the good news is the chat agrees with a lot of your points. Sibylla gives you a point. Sibylla gives you a point for the Perry the Platypus joke. Snowcat gives you a point for name dropping Perry the Platypus as well. Queen Jazzy Art gives you a point for the amazing rant. And N Mackie says, Rob out here asking the good questions. Why do we need to humanize our protagonists?
Why do we need to humanize our protagonist? Darth Vader, the greatest character ever. Who the fuck is this guy? We don't know.
He's not a protagonist.
Six fucking movies. He's the protagonist, dude. Fuck the rebels. Those terrorists. What are you talking about? You can see all their faces. What the fuck is that shit?
It's not like he had 3 movies and, 6 seasons of television?
Right.
Dedicated to him?
That's true. No, you're totally
Not
right.
the protagonist, by the way.
And Shadical coming in as well, giving a point to Rob. Read the books, played the first 2 games. The reveal was terrible. I hate that I know what Master Chief looks like now. The icon has been ruined. Reception for this series is at the best lukewarm. So
Lukewarm at the best.
Hey, heads up, folks. If just in case you had Paramount Plus and we're thinking about picking this up, consider that first. Moving forward, Carl, what would you like to talk about for your first topic?
You can't really follow the voice of the people after he just went on a rant, but I'm gonna go with the PS Plus changes. Sorry,
yeah, I mean, good lord, there's tons of things to talk about.
So this was, I think, unless I remember this wrong, you talked about this last time. It was called Spartacus. And essentially, the long story short, they're merging PS Plus and PS Now and making it one big undertitle of PS Plus. They're making it in 3 tiers. PS Plus Essential, which is essentially what it is right now. You get 2 monthly free games, you get discounts, you get your cloud storage, can play online. Subscriptions are like $10 a month up to $60 a year. Then there's the new tiers. The first one is PS Plus Extra, which is in addition to that, you get a catalog of like 400 PS4 and PS5 games, the first party and third party games only, I think. I could be wrong about that. And it's like $15 a month up to $100 a year. And then the big behemoth, which is what everyone's talking about right now, is the PS Plus Premium, which in addition to those 2 tiers, you get 340 PS1, PS2, PS3, and for whatever reason, PSP games. And you get your cloud streaming, so you can stream your games from your PS4, PS5, PC, and it's $18 a month up to $120 a year. And it should release in like the first half of this year. June in Asia is the plan, and then later on in the rest of the world. And it's going to include also games like Death Stranding, the Will Crosby edition, God of War, Spider-Man, all those great games. It won't on launch. It won't include first-party games. That's a different story. Like the future first-party games, like the sequel to God of War, but that's another thing. And yeah, it's Sony trying to be like, hey, we have our Game Pass. We're valid still. Look at us. Give us your money. And is it as good as Game Pass? The answer is probably maybe not. It's a good hand. It's a good start, but it's like you can't really compete with a gaming bundle that gives you new games for free when you subscribe to it, and you don't have to wait a bit until it's been enough time for Sony to rip you off for $70 and then you being able to actually play them again, even though you're giving them $120 a year. It's them trying to be more upfront, and since they got fucked by Microsoft recently with all their acquisitions in the early on this year, I think they're trying to make it the year of Sony, even though that is very much not possible right now.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing where I don't think they're trying to compete in exactly the same lane, and they're very upfront about that. But it is like, man, I wish, like they had to have known there was going to be some negative reaction to this, and I wish there was. What gets me is that they're like, hey, we're 3 months out at best from when this comes up, like officially, and it kind of sucks that they can't even say what the games are. And I get that it's like 400 or 700 games that they're not talking about, and hey, that's a lot of games, but like you gotta give me something. And they did say like, well, we're gonna include Miles Morales on that, we're gonna include Returnal, which like that's cool, but it also is like, okay, well, you're not including Horizon, the new Horizon game, you're not including the new God of War when that comes out, and we get that, but it's kind of a bummer, you know. But
yeah.
But Zach, you get all your favorite PSP games, like the Ghostbusters game.
Yeah, that's
the PSP
the
port.
fact that they were like, yeah, we're including PSP games on here. I was like, oh shit, I can play Metal Gear Solid Acid. Been waiting to play that one. We'll see. I mean, maybe this will shake out to be cooler.
Welcome, Zach.
But
Sony, you're here.
Also in the chat, Shadowquo gives a point to me for saying I need to know the games. Thank you, Shadowquo. Moving on, though, last topic of round one. Elise, what would you like to talk about?
Y'all remember fucking Crucible? The game from 2020?
I think you were the
That was
only
like trying to
person.
be a battle royale, but was really bad at it.
I think you were the only person on Save Data who played this game before it got shut down.
Yeah, I played it. I liked it for the first 15 minutes. And then I thought it was ass. And it was the game that was put out and then came out of release to early access. And then from early access to coming soon, even though it was already out and was a 1.0 release.
Yeah.
And then canceled indefinitely.
Yeah.
The only game I can think of that was released and then canceled within like the course of a week or some shit.
It was buck wild. But hey, Amazon Games has other games now, Elise.
They do. Okay. So the news story here is that the Amazon Games boss, Mike Frazzini, is stepping down to focus on family. And a bunch of employees were like, hey, guess what? Mike Frazzini is like half the reason our games suck.
I'm so glad that you're ready to go after Mike on this one because, yeah, his leadership kind of sucks.
For reference, they have put out a few more games since. There was New World, which I saw some people that I follow liked, but also was like an extremely, extremely messy game with like a ton of like very deep bugs and like problems and economy issues, and it seems like every week there's a new thing that like completely destroys the game.
Yeah, I think wasn't it on this show we talked about like the economy made a thing where you could just like print infinite money and that actually created real inflation in the game and then everything got devalued or some shit.
Yeah, it got real quick. It got
That's very weird.
real quickly.
There was if you input a dodge and then like while you have iframes, if you go into windowed mode and then just hold on to like the window header, like where you click to move the window, you could be infinitely invincible. There was things where you could like type in the chat box and crash other people's games.
Yeah, holy shit, I forgot about that. You could literally just like DDoS people in the fucking game, which is hilarious.
Apparently, they also made a racing game. I don't remember hearing anything about this.
Nope, I don't either.
And then recently they published Lost Ark, which I played a little bit of. It's basically Diablo. Path of Exile. I always get Path of Exile and Pillars of Eternity mixed up. It's basically one of those. Lots of people like it. Kicker there is it's not an Amazon Games game. They just published it. It's been out in like Korea for 2 years, I think. So it's just published in the West by Amazon. So I'm not giving them any fucking credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Frazzini has finally stepped down. One former employee said that basically. Both Frazzini and Amazon underestimated the complexities of the game industry. Which, hey, I think that's what we were saying like 2 years ago when fucking New World was being delayed 12 times and Crucible came out in the state it did. We were like, these guys thought that they could buy their way into making good games, and A, didn't put enough money into it, and B, did not understand that games are about more than pouring $5 billion into it.
Yeah, I mean,
think that, like the most profitable company or one of the most profitable companies in the world would be able to make games, but apparently not.
I mean, hey, both
So
Amazon
maybe we'll see.
and Google have the same fucking problem where they're like, we got the money, surely we'll have good games, and then they don't.
They keep forgetting helmets.
Maybe we'll see with Frazzini gone, with like I don't want to say I want Amazon to do well, but like I don't wish harm on like the employees. I hope that, you know, people who are making games get to make the games that they want, right? So I'm in that sense, I am hoping that the departure of this guy can help them. I want more good games. I want people who are making games to, you know, be proud of their work. Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe it'll crash and burn, and then we can laugh at Amazon some more.
I do hope that they promote somebody to Mike Frazzini's place that obviously has more experience in the games industry. It remains to be seen if that would be the case, but you have to imagine they'd make the right choice, right? Right, corporate America, right?
So.
As gamers and businesses are one.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Catching up with the chat, Shadowco did give a point to Carl for as a 6-year member of PS Plus. This sucks, and yeah, it's basically if you're at where we are now, you're getting nothing more. So why should you even care about this unless you want to pay them more money? Sibylla gives Elise a point saying, yeah, good games just require a ton of money, right? Sure. And Mackie gives a point saying credit where credit is due, and Amazon has none. Shadowco gives a point saying money without heart is just paper with old people printed on them. That's really good. David in the chat gives a point to Carl because his birthday was this week, which that's true. Hey, Carl. Happy belated birthday on camera.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
And Croissant giving a point to Elise for people slowly realizing that you don't need a ton of money for a good game. I just wish they'd all realize faster. Yeah, I mean, look at Stardew Valley, which was made by one person and became, you know, such an indie darling that the creator became a multi-millionaire very quickly. But going back around in the order, Pridge, what would you like to talk about for your?
I'd like to talk about the strength of a name.
Oh, what is that name?
Ooh.
That name is Jade Raymond.
Hey, take it away.
So as we all know, both Sony and Microsoft like to buy other studios because that just makes sense, you know? Partnership, you can give them money, you can potentially score exclusive deals. No, David, I was not going to say knack.
Dog bless you, Pridge.
So obviously both Sony and Microsoft like to buy studios. Obviously we've seen several of the big ones recently. Microsoft is the biggest, but there are plenty of other ones. Now usually when you buy a big AAA studio, you like to wait till they've released some games. Especially if you have, you know, the sort of informal partnership where they tend to make games for you even though you don't specifically own them. And obviously that's what Sony tends to do. You have, I mean, again, even the article lists Naughty Dog, Guerrilla, Media, Molecule, Insomniac, and Housemarque as great examples of studios that have made games, often made games specifically for Sony, and then later just get bought by Sony. However, in the case of Haven Studios, formed by Jade Raymond and many other, and several other well-known developers, Sony has decided to buy them before they've even announced their first game. We know they are working on something for PS5, but it is not even, and my guess is Sony obviously knows what they're working on, but it's not even been officially announced yet, and Sony's already pulled the trigger on acquiring them. Now again, a lot of this has to do with the sort of already established repertoire that comes from Jade Raymond and the other top developers of Haven. For those who don't know, Jade helped create the first Assassin's Creed game. And I believe Watch Dogs is the other series she had. Watch Dogs is the other big franchise she had a hand originally in. She's gone to several other places during her career. Most recently, she had a short 2-year stint on Google Stadia.
Yeah, she got super fucked on that one.
Speaking of companies with lots of money that don't know how to make games, Google Stadia. But luckily, she freed herself from wasting her talent in that crap hole and started Haven Studios in 2021. And basically, a year later, they're now a Sony studio. And overall, this should be pretty cool. Again, we know nothing about what they're creating, so for all I know, it could be a game I'm completely uninterested in. But I'm hoping it's a game I'm interested in because, again, a lot of good talent here already have Sony's money and, you know, Sony's backing behind them. So should it be a game I'm interested in? I'm very much expecting it to be a good game. But yeah, again, it's just interesting to see that Sony has such trust in this studio to not even wait for them to even announce or release a game before they just decided this is worth it. I don't know, again, it's tough to say whether we'll see more similar things like this as this sort of acquisition war continues. Whether you're just going to see, again, any new studio that pops up with any name, name value to its employees just get immediately bought. But again, this is definitely an interesting one. Definitely, when you really look at it, like, you could say it's surprising because they haven't released a game. But when you really look at, like, more about it, it's not super surprising.
Yeah.
But again, here's going. This is a deal that works out for everyone.
Yeah, I am super excited for this. I can't remember if it was this article or like another thing where like basically they had an interview with Jade Raymond and she was like, yeah, it's wild. We're like super ahead of all of our projections on the game so far of like where we'd be like roadmap wise. And I'm like, when have you ever heard a game studio say that? That is the most wild shit to be like, yeah, we're ahead of schedule. I don't know. It's crazy. So if that becomes like a repeating thing for them, then I mean, what a great investment for Sony, I guess. And David gives a point to Pridge for picking the Jade from Beyond Good and Evil topic. David, you know that's not what Jade this is about, and I hate you so much. David also does take away
Empire.
Exactly. David also takes a point away from Rob because David likes ties apparently. So now Elise and Rob are tied for first. Speaking of, though, Rob, what would you like to talk about for your second topic of the show?
You know what? Let's talk about the strength of a name, right? And that particular name is building. Building. What does a gamer think of when they hear the word build? Fortnite, baby. And what does Fortnite think of when they hear building? A big old middle finger to the Fortnite gamers. Because they're like, we're taking out the building in our Fortnite game. And I actually heard about this before tonight. Because my entire Twitter feed was like, whoa, they're taking building out of Fortnite? Where are we dropping, boys? And I was like, oh, shit. I actually kind of want to play Fortnite now that there's no building in it.
Shit. Rob doesn't play more than 3 video games, so if he wants to play a game, that's high praise.
I might have to knock fucking Minecraft off the list, you know?
Oh,
that game's got building, and I'm not about that anymore.
Oh, shit.
We're going to do some zero building.
Minecraft no building mode. You just destroy things.
The only thing that could compete with Fortnite now. A bunch of streamers are playing it. Ludwig just had his Fortnite Mondays where everybody's playing Fortnite together. I looked at Fortnite for the first time since just after it released, and you can slide now.
Yeah.
There's like football players in the game. There's fucking Will Smith is in the shit. Wait, no, not that guy. We don't like him right now.
In the news again. No.
Shit. This game is wild.
It's Chris Rock in the game, though.
He got slapped out of it, dude.
Oh my god!
That's so good.
God damn it!
But this game is gorgeous to look at. There's so much cool shit in there. There's tanks now. There's I say now. I'm going to be talking from my perspective. There's boats now. Maybe those have been in there for a year. You can fucking throw a thing on the ground and you start flying. I was like, whoa, what the fuck is that shit? Some guy, instead of a pickaxe, he had a sword. And I was like, that's kind of cool. I bet it doesn't do any damage, though, which is a little unfortunate. But I have to assume that they announced their temporary no build mode. A shitload of people came back to play. They made a shitload of money. And they're like, you know what? Maybe let's go ahead and split our player base, because fuck those guys anyway. They're paying for this shit no matter what. Let's go ahead and throw the zero build in there, and I'm interested to see how much relevancy Fortnite has, even more relevancy than it currently does. Now that it's a pure skill game instead of Minecraft.
Well, I was gonna say one more question really quick, Rob, because this was announced as a limited time mode for I think it was going to be 9 days. And then this became super popular, and they're like, oh shit, we got to keep it in. My question to you is, without building, because now Fortnite is on a much more even playing field with like Apex Legends, I guess if anybody's still playing PUBG, sure. Do you think people are going to say, oh wait, without building, Fortnite's kind of dookie?
This game actually sucks, doesn't it? I think it
could hurt them.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, do you think this could hurt them?
I think just the fact that I'm sure a bunch of people my age, older, around my age, who played Fortnite at the beginning and then maybe switched to Apex, switched to Warframe or something, at least came back to try it, and they're like, oh shit, all my friends are having fun. It's low stakes, it's low stress, it's fun, it's colorful. People are going to remember, oh shit, Fortnite was a whole hell of a lot of fun at the beginning, before everybody knew how to build mansions in half a second. Right. And they're just going to be like, I'm having a lot of fun playing with my friends. We're kicking it. We're having a good time. I don't want to downplay how bright and colorful it is. That shit is like crack.
It is actually pretty to look at.
It is nice to look at. I don't think those more realistic ones have that going for it. Just that unique color style. What's that swimming Zelda game that's still popular? Because it has
swimming Zelda game.
You sail. Starts with a W.
Oh, Wind Waker.
Wind Waker.
The swimming Zelda game.
There's water, I think you swim in water. I don't know. I drink it. So you swim in it, I drink it. We are not the same, okay?
Well, hey, the chat appreciated your Will Smith joke. Dan is a nerd gave you a point for the A+ joke. Shadowquill gives you a point for the slap joke. Also adding, Fortnite has removed building. At least Martin Luther King is still in the game, right? No, I think that got taken out.
No, it's not February. It's not February anymore. We can go back to ignoring Black History.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure that's. Almost made that joke, and I was like, "Yeah, that might be a bad taste."
No, that's how America works.
That's true.
Everyone gets their month, and we pretend they don't. Then they pretend they don't have issues anymore.
Well, I was gonna say today is also actually Trans Day of Visibility, so some people only get a day. But
shit, I wanted to make that joke. Okay, you can have it. You can have it.
Hey, also
to being invisible tomorrow.
Yeah. Croissant gives a point saying, "Not gonna lie, I've known what Fortnite is as a concept, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. Rob sounds happy though, so here's a point for him." And Sapilla giving a point, sorry, but taking a point because Link can't swim for shit. Inaccurate. Oh, shit.
No. Oh, pause, bullshit. I played Twilight Princess, and he had the Zora suit with the flippers. Wait, he turned into a Zora in whatever that other one was too.
Yeah.
Link can absolutely swim with the right equipment.
Yeah, well, with the right, that's the issue. And Mackie also takes away a point saying you can't remember Wind Waker. Listen, y'all, Rob doesn't play games, so
Games suck. What the hell? You don't have helmets in Legend of Zelda, so it's like, what the fuck?
That's right. Only if your game has helmets will Rob play it.
Fair.
And Shadowquill is around the Savage monitor. Exactly. Carl. Oh, his voice cracked. Carl, what would you like to talk about for your second topic of the show?
Let's take a crack at Nintendo and their bullfuckery.
Oh yeah, this is
Fuck those guys.
So wild.
So much fuckery.
They don't have any helmets in their games.
Now, Zach, something the youngins might not remember from the good old days of gaming. Do not.
Carl, you're the
crack at
youngest
me.
person here.
I was saying, do not fuck off. Listen, back in our day, there used to be guides for games. Our games, actually, I had games that had guides in them. I can't think of them right now, but I can, remember looking up guides or using a book to see how to do certain things. Or certain games would have, like, if it was an RPG or something, like strats or certain stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was useful. It was cool. This was before, like, a lot of internet was extremely used as much as it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And guides have been very prominent. Now, you might know of this little game called Mario 64. Zach has strong feelings for this game. A guidebook was released for this game back in 1996 in Japan. In Japan only. Nowhere else in the world. In 1996. Again, 1996 in Japan. Now, last week, I think, or the week before that, there have been scans of that specific Mario 64 guidebook that was released. And it was a really actually nice guidebook. I took a look at it. It had dioramas to show you the level. So it's not like, go at the third tunnel after the red rock, and there's like 17 red rocks and 17 tunnels. You're like, where do I go? It shows you an actual diorama of where to go and what to do. And it's actually very neatly made. And a scan of that was released. Now, let's talk a bit about this, shall we? It is hard to obtain. You'd have to be very lucky to spend a few $100s on it on eBay or on Yahoo.
Oh wow!
Apparently. Yeah, it's hard to obtain. You're getting it from a third party, so not Nintendo. And it was released once more, 1996, Japan, baby. Nintendo were like, you know what? We're gonna take that down because that we can make money off of that. How? In no way, shape, or form. We're just assholes. So they took down the scans of the guidebook for no reason, really. They literally cannot make money off of that. So Nintendo of America sent a takedown notice to the Internet Archive where the scan was released. And welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Antics.
Yeah, it just, again, it feels especially relevant because we just talked about Nintendo getting rid of all their music on YouTube that Silva Gunner posted and other people posted. And this one just feels especially like shitty because like, yeah, of course I want to listen to Nintendo music. That shit fucking slaps. But like, again, it's fucking 2022. Who doesn't already know every single secret in Mario 64?
Yes.
It just...
At a certain point, I want to infiltrate a Nintendo like board meeting or legal team meeting,
Yeah.
and just ask them fucking why.
Yeah.
Fucking why, you guys? What are you looking to get out of this?
Right.
What bottom line
Yeah.
is this going to hurt? What resale value? What are you doing? Why does this matter to you?
Yeah, it just
It's so fucking batshit.
and they have to know like they're getting fucking destroyed in the quote retweets, right? Like they have to know. They're getting ratioed on Twitter for this shit. So like, come on.
And there's nothing worse than getting ratioed on Twitter.
No, just ask fucking Ben Shapiro. There we go. I don't know why I couldn't think of Ben Shapiro's name for a second there.
Does get ratioed a lot?
Uh-huh. And Mackie in the chat also gives Carl a point for remembering Yahoo. Yeah. And Shanako gives a point to Carl saying, Nintendo insists that things they can't make money off of shouldn't exist. Keep them away from the Infinity Stones, y'all. Yeah. It's another very weird Nintendo decision. So here we go, I guess.
If anyone's got an uncle who works at Nintendo, get me in touch with them.
Tell him to
I want
fucking
some
stop
answers.
it.
I want some answers.
Elise, finishing things out for this week, what would you like to talk about for the last topic of the show?
I was going to talk about the phenomena stuff, but that sounds rough.
Yeah.
So let's just talk about GTA Plus.
Yeah, hey.
Because what the fuck, guys? This game's been out for like, what, 10 years?
10
11 years?
years!
Something like that?
10 years!
What the... And they're adding... Okay. The GTA Online economy is kind of wild because as far as I can tell, I haven't actually played it, but as far as I can tell, they basically forewent the like... You know how like all the mobile games have like 12 different currencies and like 2 of them can be bought with real money that can be like transferred into the others, and it's just to keep you confused and everything. GTA was like, fuck that, we've got money. And you can earn money in game, but you can also buy money. Which, you know, sure, you're getting away from like the fake money like input into the economy shit. With like 12 different currencies that's meant to confuse you. But what that does is that it completely fucks your economy. It means that if you don't play like 24/7 for 12 years, like anything,
Right.
this is why a big reason of why GTA 5 is like, I think the most purchased game on Steam by a wide margin. Because if you purchase it again when you already have it, you just get a bunch of money in GTA Online.
Yeah.
So now, 10 years into the game's life, they're adding a $6 monthly membership for PS5 and Xbox Series X/S. Please, Xbox, I hate saying your name. $6 per month for $500,000 direct deposit into your Maze bank account, plus the opportunity to claim properties in and around Los Santos that unlock gameplay updates you may have missed out on, special vehicle upgrades, member-only discounts, GTA money, and RP bonuses, and more each month. Basically, they're saying, look, we know we fucked up the economy. Let's just turn this into a subscription game.
Yeah, honestly.
So we can milk more money out of this for the next, like, decade.
I mean...
And you know what? Like, on one level, there is a non-cynical part of me that's like, this is fine, because most, like, MMO games like this have, like, you know, subscription models of some sort, whether it's, you know, actually subscribe to play the game, which is kind of running out of fashion now, or it's like, you know, subscribe to get extra benefits. Like, a lot of fucking games have that if they're online. But adding it in 10 years later, and it basically just being like money in your bank account plus like a couple small things feels very weird. Feels very cynical.
Yeah, it's like you gotta imagine this is them just trying to get like one more big cash out before in like maybe 2 at most 3 years we finally hear about GTA 6. But like, it is buck wild that this game came out on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, and now they're fucking adding a $6 a month paid service when you can still get Xbox Game Pass for $10 a month and get fucking over 100 games. But I mean, here we are, I guess.
This game's going to be coming out on the PlayStation 12. It's still going to be a GTA 5.
Oh, God.
I can't wait till like there's like a dystopian sci-fi novel, and it's like, the year is 2078. The last reserves of food on the western coast just ran out. GTA 5's just been re-released again.
Yeah.
There's no water in the Great Lakes.
Physical editions of GTA 5 are the new currency.
The world is falling apart, except for GTA, but there's still GTA 5.
Yeah, the economy is terrible, except for GTA 5's economy. Oh, wait, no, that's also pretty bad.
There's no game systems left, but they just keep releasing GTA 5 for some reason.
Yeah.
GTA 5 is going to be the battle taps of the apocalypse.
Exactly. But folks, that is going to do it for this week's Around the Monitor, which does mean Carl, Pridge, and Elise, it's time to go home and become family folks, because this week's winner is the voice of the people. It's Rob.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's go. Get yes.
Rob, are you ready to talk for whatever you're going to talk about for a minute?
So back in October of last year, I started making a notepad with minute-to-minute things I wanted to talk about.
Oh, okay.
And today, in the very last day of March of 2022, I get to use it.
Okay.
Nice.
Take it away.
Let me
pull up my speech I have prepared.
Okay. So, the race card. Oh. This is the thing white people like to say exists, right? And they like to tell people of color, I'll speak from the black experience, to stop playing the race card. But white people seem to forget that they're the ones who invented the race card in the first place. They're the ones who stapled it to everybody else's forehead. And then they said, if you don't staple this to your children's forehead and then your grandchildren's forehead, we're going to not let you participate in society, which usually meant death or some various form of something unsavory to talk about, more unsavory than death, funnily enough. So when people say, stop playing the race card, race wasn't a thing until white people decided they were better than all of these other races, which they made up based on skin color. So they create this institutionalized system of subjugation. And then when we start saying, hey guys, this thing you made is kind of shitty, they get mad at us for pointing it out. And it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? But the thing about when you create this institution, you're able to control the schools, the government, every part of society, right? So you get to teach people, no, it wasn't like that. Race wasn't really that big of an issue. Slavery wasn't, you get to sort of twist things, especially here in America. So now there's this dog whistle of saying somebody's playing the race card when in all actuality, like, it's not a game or a card we even want to be fucking playing, but you guys dealt us this hand, and now you're like, but stop using those cards we gave you. I don't know.
Hell yeah! I mean,
hell yeah! Good shit.
It's always
bad shit, but good. Good explanation of the bad shit.
Yeah, for folks who don't know, when Rob wins, he fucking goes hard in the minute to win it, and this is no exception. So, hell yeah. Folks, that's gonna do it for our show on that extremely uplifting note. Again, if you like this, you can catch us live on twitch.tv/SaveTheDayTeam several nights throughout the week. And if you'd like to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/SaveTheDayTeam. Other things to plug this week. We just put up the part 2 of our highlight reel of our Stardew Valley 4-player co-op, edited, of course, by Carl. It's really funny. I do recommend checking it out because he managed to turn a 3-hour stream into 11 minutes, 12 minutes. And it flies by. It's so good. I highly recommend it. This Sunday, what will be the 2nd, I believe, of April? Yep. No, 3rd. The 3rd of April.
Third.
Me, Wes, and Chris are going to be playing Not for Broadcast. If you haven't seen our first playthrough of it, I highly recommend checking it out. But basically, it's essentially Papers, Please set in London, in a dystopian London. It's Papers, Please set in the world of V for Vendetta, but also it's funny. It's very good. And Chris has expertise in broadcast television. Wes has expertise in British comedy, and I'm there, and it's a lot of fun. Hey, I know I used it as a joke earlier, but also it is Trans Day of Visibility. So if you have trans people in your lives, please reach out to them and, be supportive of them. God damn it, because it's their one fucking day of the year.
Open mouth, smooch on the lips,
Exactly. Apart from that, anything else?
The hearts nowadays.
Yeah.
I always do it like this. I feel is it this? Is this how they do it?
I think the thumb is open down, but I can still see that it's a heart in what you're doing. I mean, at least you're the number one Kingdom Hearts stan, so however you say to do a heart, I believe. All right, but until next time, folks. This has been Around the Monitor.